Hello, I'm Taylor Tommila, aka Honda Dash of Honda Dash Productions, and with you as always is my cameraman Blake Stark. And today we're bringing you another video for the RC How-To series, and we'll be talking about the before and after run procedures for your nitro and electric vehicles. Alright, so what are before and after run procedures? Well, there's something that you should definitely make a habit of and be very, very meticulous about. Think of them as like nitro electric checklists that you perform before and after you run your cars. And the variables of this checklist vary upon certain things, and you need to ask yourself these questions like, was it raining or sunny? And was it raining, was your nitro electric water resistant? Were you going in sand? Was it wet or dry? Did you try dirt out? How was the dirt? Was it wet or dry? Did you run over rocks in there? All these questions vary on what you need to do for your checklist, and that way you can be prepared for it when you go through it. So I know probably you have just bought your own brand new RC car or truck, and you want to take that thing out, put your battery in there, or charge it up, and go use it and start bashing.
Like I said.
But I'm telling you right now that you do this, and without doing the checklist, you will most definitely ruin your car in some way or shape or form. But if I do this checklist with me, I guarantee you that you'll have longer engine life and you will definitely have a better future with your car. So let's tackle the before run procedures first. Now the questions I asked you earlier will be key in what you're going to be doing for your before checklist. Now a lot of these things are the determining factors of what will happen that day. Now you could just take your car, use it in hopes that nothing will break, but every true RC enthusiast knows three things. One thing I remember before I take out those three things is always bring beer. Beer and RC cars mixed, excellent combination. So number one is anything that can go wrong will go wrong, which means no matter how much precautions you take, something will always go wrong. Number two is be prepared as much as possible. Bring with you what's known as a go box. And in this glove box here, you will have several different key tools that you will use for fixing your car on the spot, which means you don't have to go all the way back to your big toolbox to get tools. And now some of these things you will learn as you go, what you need to bring and what you won't need to bring. So just bear that in mind and use it as experience. Rule number three is if you didn't break anything on your RC car, then you weren't having fun. Most people get frustrated, you probably will, when you break something and it becomes a day ender. But don't let your assholes pucker up. Just remember that this sport is very expensive. And don't come complaining to your wife either. She will not understand. That is, of course, if your wife or girlfriend loves RC cars, then gotta envy you.
Okay, so now we're coming to the pre-run procedures. The first thing you want to make sure is you have tools, the correct tools for any kind of situation that you can anticipate or try to anticipate, because nothing's worse than breaking something out in the field and not having any tools to fix them. Okay, so the next step is to actually make sure that all of your batteries are fully charged and ready to go. Also keep in mind, if you do charge them, try to charge your batteries about 10 or 15 minutes before you go, because batteries will lose their charge over time. Okay, so the next step is to actually make sure you have fully charged batteries in your transmitter. Now this is very important because without your transmitter working, obviously you can't use your car. So again, make sure that all of them are fully charged and ready to go. Okay, so the next step is actually put a fresh battery in your RC car. Take your top off, put your battery in your battery tray, and hook everything up. And I also make sure that you pick the battery you want to choose, either NIM or a LiPo. I usually run NIMs first, then LiPos. That way my car doesn't overheat as much, and I can use it twice as long. Okay, what comes next is the pre-run check. This is checking for binding while moving the car back and forth, making sure that your open differential is working by spinning your tires, and also making sure that your shocks are working properly. All these things are vital to making sure that you have a fun time out with your RC truck or car. What comes next is making sure your transmitter is turned on. It's a rookie mistake turning on your car first, then your transmitter, so make sure you know the order. So with your transmitter turned on, next thing to do is actually turn on your RC car, pushing the button near the ESC. Okay, so the next thing to do is to make sure that your steering servos are working properly by turning your wheels left and right on your transmitter and making sure that they're perfectly synced up. Okay, so the next step is to actually check your throttle, your braking, and your reverse, making sure that when you throttle, you pull back, when you brake, you push forward, and when you reverse, you push all the way forward. Next is to make sure that all your steering trim is perfectly aligned to go forward and straight. Okay, so this brings us to the post-run procedures. Make sure you fully discharge all of your NIM batteries for longer battery life. Also, do not do this with lipos. Only go halfway down until the power cuts to 50% and then stop using them. Okay, so now that all your batteries are fully discharged, make sure you take your body off to get into the internals of the car itself. Okay, now that you have your body removed, make sure you turn your car off by hitting the button on the ESC. Next, take your hands and unplug the battery from the car itself. After that, you want to pull the pin out of the battery holder, take the battery holder off, and then take your battery out. Okay, now that your battery's out of the car, it's a good habit to get into is to charge all of your batteries right away. Now, you know that if you want to take your car out and spur of the moment thing, in the back of your mind, you know that all your batteries are charged and ready to go. Okay, this brings us to the post-run check. This is a very thorough check that you should definitely get in the habit of doing, making sure that your springs are rebounding properly. Also, make sure is that your shocks are properly hooked up. There's not one blowing off or they're dangling or anything like that. Also, check to see that make sure your wheels are spinning properly on the other side as well. Also, checking the rear drive lines and the front drive lines, making sure that they're properly connected. A good thing to do is look at the A-arms, making sure that they are properly attached too. There's no holes or one's broken. That's a big problem with these RC cars is you get broken A-arms by jumping them, especially with the rear drive axles as well. Okay, once you've done the body check, it's a good idea to wash your car. In the case of my Traxxas here, is fully waterproof, so I can put it in the tub and completely clean off the inside of the turtles inside the wheels, flip it over, get the backside as well. With your nitros, this could be a little more difficult. That's why you do a deep clean every couple of months, making sure that everything's good. Put your car in front of a fan and make sure it's properly dried off. Okay, that's it for this video. I hope you have a great time bashing and crashing.
If you didn't, rule number 3.
Slow the fuck down.
You're stink, dude. I'm having trouble concentrating here.
Really?
Your fart is disgusting.
Oh.
God, we're in a fucking garage, okay? It's got nowhere to go. We don't have ventilation in here.
If you'd like to leave any comments or suggestions, please leave them in the section down below. Also, if you'd like to see more of my videos, please hit that subscribe button. Also, I greatly appreciate it if you do watch my videos to please hit that like button as well. If you'd like to contact me, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.